Hello, everyone, and good evening. My name is Alyssa Perna, and I would like to welcome you to QC Event School's webinar on promotional events. So I wanted to start by introducing myself to you and giving you a little bit of background for those of you who don't know me, haven't watched a webinar with me in it before, or I'm not your tutor. So to kick it off, I wanted to introduce myself. So again, I'm Alyssa Perna, and I've been working with QC Event School for about 2 years, and I am their tutor for the corporate events course, their festival course, and now I'm excited to become a tutor for their new specialty course called Promotional Events. And let me give you a little bit of background about myself. I have had a wide variety of corporate and nonprofit event experience. So for the last nearly 5 years, I managed the operations for a global conference production company where I led the business performance for over 30 business-to-business conferences across North and South America. And most recently, I'm very, very excited to have made some changes in my professional life. So a little bit different than some of the previous webinars that I've done. I'm, first of all, thrilled to be working with a local nonprofit organization here in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. I am the managing director for an organization called Ingenuity Cleveland. And Ingenuity Cleveland hosts year-round programming and an annual festival which animates Cleveland's urban spaces with world-class innovative experiences. And we explore the boundaries of art and technology. Ingenuity Fest has over 15,000 visitors over a weekend in September. We have tons of performances, 6 stages, musicians, volunteers, hundreds of volunteers that help to make it happen, entrepreneurs and artists. And the whole city comes out to enjoy and celebrate art, technology, and our awesome city of Cleveland. So also, I recently took the leap and finally opened up my own business. So I am now also the owner of Experience Events. Here's my logo. And Experience Events is a full-service strategic event planning and consulting firm. And we offer solutions for corporate and large-scale events. And I personally believe that every event should be a memorable experience, which we'll talk more about today. And I'm excited to be able to help organizations strategize, shape, and develop their event vision into reality. So glad that you guys are with us tonight and that you're joining me on this exciting yet scary journey of entrepreneurship with my own business as well. So that is plenty enough about me. And I want to shift focus a bit. And thank you. Thank you very much. I saw the congrats. Thank you. And I want to shift the focus onto why you're tuning in to learn about promotional event planning tonight. So first, I wanted to just briefly talk about the agenda and what we're going to cover tonight. The first thing we'll talk about is answering the question of what even are promotional events? What's the purpose of promotional events? How can they help an organization or a business? And then we'll also discuss a variety of promotional events and some really cool examples. This is probably one of my most favorite webinars that I've done because promotional events are really cool, creative, and just punchy and have their own personality. And of course, we'll save some time for questions and answers. But as I go through the webinar tonight, please post your questions in real time on that Facebook Live feed for me. I'll answer them maybe I'll answer them as we go, or usually I wait till the end of the webinar to address any questions you may have. And don't feel limited. You can ask me any questions. It doesn't have to be just about promotional events. So let's get going. Before we do get started, though, I wanted to make you aware of a promotion that QC Event School is running right now. So right now, if you enroll in a foundation course, such as the promotional event planning course, or I'm sorry, if you enroll in a foundation course, which is corporate events or the like wedding planner course, you'll receive a specialization course, which would be like promotional event planning, for free. So again, for example, if you're considering going into corporate events, then you can sign up for the corporate event course, and then you can choose to take the promotional event planning course for free. So once you also become a student of QC, you'll receive 50% off of any additional courses, including the promotional event planning course. So sorry for the confusion there in the beginning, but hopefully that helps to clarify. Now's the time, and we're going to dive in and begin talking about promotional events. So first, questions first. What are promotional events? And as we're going through this, I would love if you could put some cool comments or tell me a very brief story about a promotional event as we learn more about them that you can remember seeing or coming across and thinking, wow, that really had a memorable impact on me. So a promotional event, it can be hosted anywhere where face-to-face interaction is taking place. So this means that promotional events, they don't have to occur in the traditional venues designed to host large groups of people. It's also a part of what makes promotional event planning so exciting. The possibilities are truly endless, and a promotional event can really happen anywhere if you dream it. So for example, a promotional event, it can be anything from an elaborate PR stunt to unfolding on the city streets in the middle of New York on a sidewalk. It could be a consumer education campaign, which could be held within a music festival or at an entertainment event. And grand openings are another example. Those can be used to promote world famous landmarks like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in my beautiful hometown of Cleveland. And all of these event types, they require the expertise of a promotional event planning team that really understands how an exciting event can expand a client's business. So let's dive in a little bit more, and I want to give you some solid examples. So why do businesses decide to do promotional events? Promotional events are very unique. Their main objective is really to establish product recognition or brand recognition and brand consistency. So a big part of promotional events is marketing. Promotional events, they're often just one part of a client's wider marketing campaign. And in the industry, it's really known as generating buzz. So I'm assuming some of you or most of you have probably heard the term generating buzz. It definitely goes hand in hand with promotional events. So businesses realize that they can boost their profiles and revenue by engaging consumers in events that leave a lasting impression. And a promotional event is really one of the most effective ways of capturing the attention and harnessing the buying power of the consumer. And I wanted to define for you a little bit further, who is the consumer? What is the consumer? So a consumer could be you, it could be me, it could be an everyday person. So for example, let's say that a really popular activewear brand is releasing a new line of activewear, and they get a crew of 500 women all dressed in the same flashy, cool new pants and shirt, and they're all matching, and they run down the city streets of Chicago, just simply as kind of a stunt to capture attention, to get people filming it, hopefully sharing it on social media. That's just one example of what a promotional event could look like. Or in terms of consumers again, consumers could also be a group of people. So for example, let's say I wanted to promote a new line of industrial ovens for restaurant kitchens. So my consumer audience would be owners of a restaurant who might be looking for new kitchen equipment, for example. And you really want to generate buzz around this really cool new oven, for example. Let's make ovens cool. So promotional events are really a form of experiential marketing. And this kind of marketing involves promoting a product by engaging potential consumers in an exciting, memorable, and at times when there's emotional interaction with it. So now I want to dive into the cool and fun stuff, some examples, which is types of promotional events. I'm going to touch on a few that kind of really have stood out to me through the years, and then just wrap up by telling you what else could fall under the types of promotional events. So first we'll start with PR stunts, public relations stunts, also known as PR stunts. So PR stunts are a classic way of generating free publicity and to generate buzz. Again, for example, how many of you guys remember hearing about how SpaceX sent a Tesla sports car into space a couple of years ago? I am pretty sure I heard it for a long time on every news outlet. So in February of 2018, Elon Musk, the guy who founded Tesla, launched his $100,000 Tesla Roadster into space on the SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. And the Roadster is still cruising around our solar system to this day on an elliptical path around the sun. And I wanted to try to show you some videos to supplement this, but there's going to be too many issues, I think, with you not seeing high quality videos. But Google it if you haven't heard of it. When Tesla put one of their cars into space, you can find tons of media pickup from it. So of course the stunt, it was not free for SpaceX to put on, but it generated lots of media coverage, as I mentioned, which the company paid nothing for, right? Boom, that is a great PR stunt. They got tons of eyes on their news story globally. So in order to gain coverage for PR stunts and other promotional events, companies generally provide press releases or maybe they hold news conferences before they do a stunt. And they might do the same thing after the event's taken place, hold a press release or a press conference or issue a press release. And of course, reporters will only cover newsworthy stunts, just like launching a car into space. And they really must be out of the ordinary in order to gain attention and media pickup. That's just one type of promotional event. So you can see now, after I gave you an example, I think that promotional events are super cool. I mean, if you're creative and you're dreaming up the dream of an event or something cool and crazy, this is, I think, a really good course for you to take. So another type of promotional event could be a guerrilla marketing event. So let me explain what guerrilla marketing is. So the term guerrilla refers to actions that take place in an unexpected way. So for example, guerrilla warfare, which I'm doing a lot of these tonight. Hopefully you've also come across or at least heard that term before. So guerrilla warfare is really the tactic that takes an enemy by surprise, such as an ambush. So ambushing an enemy. So in marketing, guerrilla tactics are used to catch consumers' attention when they least expect it. And these tactics tend really well to promotional events because they make a lasting impression on people and they remember them. So one example that is pretty neat is Bounty, the paper towel brand Bounty, used guerrilla marketing to demonstrate the cleaning power of its paper towels. So what it did was it created these giant messes on the streets of New York City. So one installment had this mesmerizing giant popsicle. Again, Google some videos about Bounty's New York paper towel situation, and you'll come across some really neat videos. So they had this big, giant, oversized popsicle that was just sitting there literally melting on the sidewalk with a little piece of advertisement that said something about, Bounty can clean this up the biggest messes. And another really cool, giant, oversized installation featured a puddle-like spill out of an enormous cup of coffee. And these type of guerrilla marketing stunts successfully got passerbys interacting with the installments and installations and people mentioning the event and just generating buzz and therefore building that brand online. So Google some of this stuff. It's pretty cool. So other types of guerrilla marketing events, they could be flash mobs, which we've all heard and seen at least videos of. It could be interactive ads. So if you've ever come across on social media videos of maybe people getting scared because we're coming up on Halloween here because something jumped out of the bus station at them. Those are really cool sort of guerrilla marketing campaigns. Interactive ads, it could be temporary street art or activity vending machines even. All right, shifting focus here. Another type of promotional event, that could be a grand opening. So grand openings are definitely a promotional event, and they're generally used to promote the services offered at a newly opened building. And they really want to, number one, attract the attention, get buzz around them. And the most common types of places that use these events are museums, libraries, schools, hospitals, new shopping centers, new hotels, sports arenas, etc. Those are very typical. You'll see these type of events around. And the main objective for those events is to advertise the services so that people will want to come back, they'll want to return as visitors, consumers, or clients. So another type of promotional event is a celebration. Promotional events and celebrations are run by clients whose brands are connected to specific geographical locations. And I have another local Cleveland example for you. So pull up the Google and look up the 2016 NBA championship parade in Cleveland, and just Google image some of those photos from the parade. So in Cleveland, we barely are successful a lot of the time, but we're loyal fans to our Cleveland professional sports. But Cleveland Cavaliers won, when LeBron James was still here, the 2016 NBA National Championship. And that was an epically huge deal for Cleveland. And I am not a sports girl, and I remember tuning on and literally crying because we won something. It was incredible. And the whole city felt that way. You could hear you screaming and yelling out of our windows outside the door. It was crazy. So the whole city is so pumped up about this. So the city, of course, celebrated with a parade. And this parade had, I think it was roughly 1.3 million people turned up in downtown Cleveland and packed the streets. And this made global news. It was insanely overcrowded. It was nuts, but it was peaceful, and people just celebrated. So that is another example. So again, going through some more examples of promotional events, another type of promotional event could be a product launch. So a product launch is really designed to initiate audience awareness about a new product. And it serves as a key starting point for a broader marketing campaign that you'll start to probably see in print ads, on TV, on social media, etc. And beyond all these various and variety of examples that I just went through, there's some additional other types of promotional events like brand activations. We already talked about grand openings, consumer and public health events, bringing awareness around something such as, we're all probably pretty familiar with hearing about the AIDS campaign, right? I mean, that is a public awareness type of massive marketing effort, and there were certainly plenty of events around that awareness and educating the public. There pop-up shops, installations could also fall under this category, or even pop-up museums. Pop-up installations, pop-up museums are showing up in big cities around the globe, really. All right, so that was a mouthful from me on types of corporate events, but I thought that there were some really cool examples that I wanted to share and touch on with you to help you wrap your head around what a promotional event is, and if it's something that might interest you as you continue to explore your event career. So let's shift focus again. And now I want to briefly, and I promise briefly, touch on what does a promotional event planner do, and some of the skills you need in how you can identify if you might be a good fit for becoming a promotional event planner. So I'd say some of the top skills for becoming a promotional event planner would be, number one, creative thinking. You've got to be creative to think of this really out of the box stuff. You definitely need to be organized. This stuff can be difficult and challenging to pull off. You have to be a good leader. You have to work well with a team. and a really great communicator when working with your team. I think being analytical is an important skill to have, and also having solid financial management. Think big and how you can capture people's attention. And I know a lot of you out there are event creatives, so I think you're already in the right place. And some of the important things that you probably need to do if you're looking into becoming a promotional event planner, it's a little bit of a mouthful there, is you need to be able to foster relationships with brands, with cities, and with businesses. As you can see, a lot of the examples I gave were working directly with a major brand or working within a very busy city street, New York City, and closely with businesses. So I think corporate event planning is definitely a good background and base to give you those skills and the education you need to then specialize in promotional event planning, if that makes sense. And you need to be able to implement out-of-the-box concepts for maximum reach and awareness. So for example, crosswalk branding, oversized products, street displays, impromptu public performances. There's so many cool things that can fall into this. And of course, you need to be able to set goals with your team, with yourself, with whoever you're consulting with, and be able to measure those goals. How successful were you? So all in, everyone, I hope that this gives you a sense of what promotional event planning is and how it can work for you in your career. And designing a successful promotional event is ultimately event marketing. That's important for me to mention. And throughout the QC Event School course, if you decide to enroll in the course, you'll be introduced to the basics of modern marketing and the role of promotional events in relation to marketing strategies, really. So the course will kind of outline really modern marketing strategies and to give you more ideas and some background into why a company might invest their money in doing something like this. So if this sounds interesting to you, then definitely consider taking advantage of the promotion that QC Event School is currently offering. I mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it again as we wrap up and move into Q&A. So if you enroll in a foundation course, you will receive a specialization course for free. So again, as an example, if you're considering going into corporate events, you can sign up for the corporate event course, and then you can choose to take, as an example, promotional event planning course for free, complimentary. And of course, once you become a student of QC Event School, you'll automatically receive 50% off of any additional courses, including promotional event planning. So I sincerely hope that you gained a solid overview and understanding about promotional events, what they are, how they benefit an organization and support a larger marketing strategy. And I would love to dive into your questions and answer anything about what we covered today and beyond. So I'm going to shift over and take a look here and see what we've got. So first of all, thanks for the congrats. I know that's for probably me branching off on my own and opening the business. It's scary. It's exciting. I mean, it's all the things. So I'm right there with you. Let's see here. So let's see. Tanisha, I'm just going to read through some of the comments, and if there's some questions in there, I'll certainly answer them. So Tanisha said, I previously worked in a casino where majority of our events are promotional events. That's a great point. So I also have a friend in Cleveland here, and he's just switched departments, I think, or he's in marketing now. He's in marketing now, and they do tons of promotional events all the time. So that's in order to, number one, keep the people who visit the casino to keep coming back, offer them unique opportunities that truly are special, and also make them feel special and that they're being offered something exclusively because they're a regular visitor of the casino. And also there's promotional events that they're doing outside to bring in new potential consumers who will visit the casino and invest their money in the casino at the end of the day. And they do some incredibly cool stuff. So let's see. Cha said, what is the best user user-friendly, budget-friendly registration software out there. I am going through this struggle right now. I don't know that I'm going to have a solid, great answer for you here, Cha. It's a good question. I think the go-to, if you need something user-friendly and simple and easy to set up, I would always, hands down, if you aren't developing or creating your own custom website or don't have those capabilities within your website. First of all, if you don't have those capabilities within your website or an events website, it's incredibly expensive to get it developed. There is an incredible company called Cvent, C-V-E-N-T. They offer the full suite of solution for you. So they can do everything from building your web page, taking the registrations, collecting the money. They'll send out your email blasts. So, and it all branded within one platform. So that's a great tool. And I'm not sure of their pricing, but I often and frequently use Eventbrite. If you need to manage registrations and it's an event that's free, Eventbrite is free. If you need to collect money and have somebody handle the collection of the money, and what the payout is for taxes, if you're in the US and have to pay taxes, Eventbrite is great, but they will charge fees for sure. So the more money, the higher price ticket it is to get into your event. If you use Eventbrite, the more of a fee they're going to charge to handle all of that for you. But those are the two. If anybody has other suggestions, please comment on there and we'll get to that comment. But that's what I suggest in terms of registration. Eventbrite probably first, and then if you're really ready to invest, look at Cvent. I haven't seen really much that compares to Cvent because it's such an incredible tool and piece of software. So, and it looks like Adrian said Event Dex out of New Jersey, EVENTDEX. So that's helpful. And let's see what's next. So Cha said, what is the best way to distribute a swag bag at a conference with 160 attendees? Great question. And I could definitely say I've done this before, even with larger groups. So what I've done in the past, and I'm hoping that you do have access to a team, even if it's small but mighty, a small but mighty team that's going to help you prep those bags if you're not paying for a service to do that for you. So what we would do is we would have all the tchotchkes or the promo items, probably better said, delivered to the venue ahead of time if it was out of town. And of course, you want to always bring the tracking numbers with you, because if a box is lost, you have to have a tracking number with you or you'll never be able to identify it where it might be. And then we really just, what you would think, we'd set up some stations and we would all just take a bag and stuff or pass the bag along until the bags were full, right? The giveaway bags. And then in terms of distributing on site, I think there's a couple of ways you can do it. One way that I really like is to hang it on the back of a chair when everybody goes into the conference or the event, set it on the chair or set it in front of their place setting, or you can simply hand it to them once they're registered and they visit you at the registration booth. So those are my suggestions for something like that. So Tanisha, yes, Tanisha said, and man, do I agree that the Cleveland parade to celebrate the NBA championship win was epic and a big deal for us. And yeah, it certainly was. It was definitely epic. We need one of those again, but we might not get one for another 20 years. But anyway, so Tanisha also said, I am currently taking the corporate event planning course. What can I expect from this course as an add-on, and will there be additive information? So I have access to the course books, and obviously I've done my homework and my research in reviewing the content, and I can tell you that the promotional events course is totally new content and different than corporate events. I really do think it's good to supplement corporate events in that course, because and there's a lot of different courses QC offers that can, whether you want to do decor and get better at decor, or you want to do promotional events, or you want to look at festivals on top of the corporate event planning background. It's similar to that. So it's definitely new content and different. It will go over in more detail a lot of the types of promotional events that I reviewed tonight, and it will also go into in-depth, pretty nicely marketing and how that affects and how it really is a base for promotional events. So I hope that helps to answer, but it's definitely different than the corporate event content. And Cha, thank you too. Thank you all. And last call for questions. So, you guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the well wishes and good luck. And it looks like we have one more question, so I'm going to keep going. So Adele said, I'm currently taking the courses as an event and wedding planner. How can corporate event planning help me? So there's definitely similarities between planning a wedding versus a corporate event versus a festival. But I think what I've really enjoyed about my career from a personal perspective is truly the wide variety of opportunities to continue learning and be challenged in events. So while there are similar things, like every event needs logistics, every event probably has some AV element, every event probably has some decor element, they can be completely different. So I'll give you a couple examples in 3 different roles that I've had in events. So one role was working at a museum. That particular role, I spent probably 50% of my time doing sales. So selling the venue, negotiating with a customer looking to rent the museum. And then the other 50%, or a little maybe more, was planning the logistics from start to finish. So working with the internal team to make sure we had the AV set up at the right time, that we had the right staff hired to work the event. And then I was able to be really creative when we did this big annual fundraiser, a big giant space party. So that's one type of event planning job that I've had. So another type that I had after that job was the one I recently left, which really immersed me into event operations and managing almost $4 million budget and 30 different events underneath that budget, and managing a large team, which has its own challenges, and really just, that was more immersed in business operations while still touching on some of the logistics and leading the efforts of where my skills grew over the years. And now I'm working at Ingenuity Cleveland. Totally different event. It's a festival, and I am still figuring it out. So luckily our artistic director has been there for 4-ish years, and she is incredible, and really she handles the artists and the musicians and the vision of what it's going to look and feel like. And I think I see myself over the years really wrapping my head around and getting the operations under my belt and improving operations if I can. So it's a huge variety, and there's certainly differences and things you can learn between the different courses and different types of events you could plan in an event career. And you can grow. It's not limited. You're not going to be, if you don't want to be, you won't be stuck as an event coordinator or an event manager. If you're willing to put in the work and work hard and, always get feedback. No question is a dumb question. People should always continuously give you feedback no matter what. Because that's how you learn and how you grow. And if you're willing to do that and put in the work, you can grow in your career and do anything you want. So cool. So thank you. Yep. Last call again for questions. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I always love doing these and answering questions with students and potential students and just people interested in events. So it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I hope you learned everything that you wanted to learn about promotional events. I hope to see some of you sign up for the course. And hello to some of my current students out there and prior students out there. I hope you're rocking it with your event planning career. And thank you so much. You guys have an incredible night. Bye.